Deputy Speaker, I rise to support the amendment moved by the member for Curtin, though I do so without enthusiasm because it shouldn't be necessary. Remember, 3 years ago this parliament received the Murphy report, which was a landmark, thorough, evidence-based inquiry, unanimous across Labor, Liberal and crossbench members, recommending a complete phased-in ban on gambling advertising. And what's the government done with it? Buried it, diluted it, dressed up the leftovers as, quote, the strongest reforms this country has ever seen, unquote. But let's be clear, Deputy Speaker, that's all patent nonsense, because these reforms will do little to fix the problem. Indeed, since the Murphy report landed, Australians have lost more than $108 billion. Not gambled, lost. Moreover, at least 400 people take their lives each year because of gambling addiction in this country, a figure likely chronically underreported. In other words, because of this government's inaction, well over 1,000 Australians have been lost to suicide since the report was handed down. The member for Curtin's amendment and others from my crossbench colleagues does what this government has lacked the spine to do, to close the streaming loophole, to ban the inducements and bonus bets that hook people and keep them hooked, to flip the default so children are protected unless a parent opts in, and set a binding timeline instead of yet another "the pen is never down" promise from a minister who's hoping we'll all forget. Well, I say this to the Minister and to the Prime Minister. We will not forget, nor will the 79% of Australians who support a full advertising ban. Speaker, we are elected to serve Australians, not the vested interests who profit from this insidious industry, in particular the gambling companies, the media companies and the major sporting codes. They're the perpetrators directly responsible for this harm, and the government is complicit in letting it continue. Deputy Speaker, let's be honest about who this bill protects. It's not the person who's lost a loved one to suicide over gambling addiction. It's not the people who had $8 million stolen from them by their financial advisor. And it's not the kids watching the footy at 8:31 p.m, the very minute this bill decides they're fair game. No, Deputy Speaker, this bill protects the broadcasters, the sporting codes and the gambling companies. Companies which, as I've said in this place before, behave like jackals feeding on the carcasses of gambling addicts. The government's bill lets them keep feeding. The member for Curtin's amendment at least drags the carcass out of their reach. So I say to the government and to the opposition, which has also rolled over to have its tummy tickled, this fight is not over, not by a long way. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.